Yeah, welcome to the JCJ main examination, Karibusana in Kiswahili. Welcome to the class of it. And we already posted it that we are going to deal the check bounce cases, Kolikunda Sharad Babu. Of course, today the Venunad is absent. And let me deal the types of the negotiable instrument and other things. Now, switch over to the first, Kolikunda. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, dishonour of check comes under Section 138 of Negotiable Instruments Act, 1881. In simple words, dishonour of check means that the check in question is not honoured by the bank on which it is drawn for. So when the bank does not honour the check, then it is called dishonour of check. When there is a default on the part of the drawer of a check in discharge of its legally enforceable debt or other liability to the payee of the check, as a result of which the check is dishonored due to insufficiency of funds, that is one reason, or if the amount exceeds the amount in the bank of the drawer, the legal remedy available to the payee of the check is to proceed under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act. Bouncing of a check invites criminal prosecution under the Act and is a punishable offense, and the drawer or signator of the check can be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to
Kolikunda,
2
what I
years.
shown on the screen, the same thing that you are going through, or you are going through the different one?
Yes, same.
But where you are now?
Yes, in the first para itself, that is there, available to me.
Okay. Because I did not see that point. Okay, proceed.
And the drawer or signator of the check can be punished, sir. If the check is not honored, then the punishment for it under 138 Negotiable Instruments Act, Section 138 Negotiable Instruments Act is imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years. Of course, we have already dealt with it, but again repeating the same. Or with a fine which may extend to twice the amount of the check, or with both.
In
It
the
is
first
to be
paragraph,
noted
what you read is not here now. There is no tally. What you are explaining and what I shown on the screen.
No, sir, it is tallying.
See here, did you see the cursor, my?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the cursor, there is no punishment is given. It is clearly 138 Negotiable Instrument Act is
Yes,
an alternative
I am
remedy.
on the top of it. Just go
Here you want to say is,
yes.
a criminal prosecution under the act is a punishable offense, and the drawer or signatory of the check can be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to the 2 years here. But when you are, so you came up to here.
Yes, yes.
And you are supposed to deal this thing.
Yes. It is to be noted that proceedings under Section 138 Negotiable Instruments Act is an alternate remedy. Of course, an aggrieved party can also simultaneously initiate proceedings before the civil court for recovery. So simultaneously, two cases can be run, one from under 138 Negotiable Instrument Act and the other as civil court for recovery. If the drawer is an individual, proceedings would happen under Section 138 of the NI Act. The drawer is a company, then its managing director, whole-time director, and other officers or directors of the company who are actively involved in the transaction pursuant to which check is issued can be personally prosecuted under Section 141 of the Act also. So if it is a company, if it is not an individual, then its managing director or whole-time director or any other director of the company can be prosecuted personally under Section 141 of the Act.
The NI Act.
Yes, NI Act.
Okay.
In the event of insolvency proceedings being initiated against the accused company, we all know insolvency proceedings because that person is unable to clear the debt. Then that accused company, a check bounce complaint can be continued and there is no automatic stay of the proceedings. So even if there is insolvency proceedings also being initiated against the accused company, check bounce complaint will be definitely dealt with. There is no stay on it. Essential ingredients of section 138 before one is proceeding for the criminal complaint. To constitute an offense under section 138 of the Act, the following ingredients are required to be fulfilled. We have to check whether all these ingredients, all these items are available for this, for lodging the complaint again, under the section 138. The first one is a person must have drawn a check on a bank account maintained by him. So the person must be having bank account. The person who is drawing a check must be maintaining a personal account, whether saving account or whether current account or any other. Second one, the check should have been issued for the discharge in whole or in part of any debt or other liability. So the check should have been issued for the clearance of debt, whether part or whole. Third one, the check has been presented to the bank within 3 months from the date on which it is drawn. So from the time on which it is drawn, it should be within 3 months. It should be produced or presented in the bank within 3 months. The fourth one is the check is returned by the bank unpaid, either because of the amount of money standing to the credit of the accused insufficient to honor the check, or issuance of stop payment instructions by the drawer to the drawee bank, even if the drawer issues not to pay the check amount. If he orders the drawee bank also, then the check can be dishonored. From that account, by an agreement made with the bank or when there is a deliberate mismatch of signature of the check. If he voluntarily mismatches his signature, if the signature is not tallied also, that check may be dishonored by the drawee bank. The payee or the holder in due course of the check makes a demand for the payment of the said amount of money by giving a notice in writing. So here in due course of holder in due course of check means the payee may also transfer the check to another person to draw it. So that person becomes the holder in due course of the check. For the payment of the said amount of money, either the payee or the holder in due course may produce it by giving a notice in writing to the drawer of the check within 30 days of the receipt of information by him from the bank regarding the return of the check as unpaid. If the check is dishonored, then either the payee or the holder in due course may give a notice in writing to the drawer of the check within 30 days of the dishonor of the check. That is getting information from the bank. The drawer of such check fails to make payment of the said amount of money to the payee or the holder in due course of the check within 15 days of the receipt of the said notice. So after issuing notice, the drawer should pay the amount to the payee or the holder in due course within 15 days of receiving the notice. Then this section under section 138, the complaint can be lodged. The seventh one is the complaint is to be filed before the court of chief judicial magistrate or chief metropolitan magistrate within 1 month of the date of expiry of the 15 days of receipt of the notice. So within 1 month of the date of expiry of the 15 days of receipt of notice, then the complaint can be lodged before the court of chief judicial magistrate or the chief metropolitan magistrate. Where can be a complaint filed? Again, this same is repeated. The complaint can be filed only in a court within whose local jurisdiction the bank branch of the payee, where the payee deposits the check for payment through his account is situated, except in case of bearer checks, which are presented to the branch of the drawee bank, and in that case, the local court of that branch would get jurisdiction. So generally, the jurisdiction is local jurisdiction where the bank is situated, where the payee bank is situated. Now, list of documents to be submitted in court, very important. So, in case of the complaint, the documents to be filed are: one, any agreement or contract between the complainant and accused, including orders placed, if any. Second is invoice or bill against which dishonored check was issued. Third one, any other document that is evidence of the creation of debt or liability. That is the third one. Scroll up, sir. Fourth one, correspondence exchanged between the parties. So between the drawer and drawee or holder in due course, whatever the correspondence is there among them. Fifth one is original dishonored check. Sixth, bank memo stating the reason for dishonor of check. Bank also issues a memo why this check is dishonored. That is also the item to be or ingredient to be produced. Seventh one, copy of the legal notice sent to the accused. So once the check is dishonored, then the legal notice is served to the accused or the drawer. Eighth one, proof of dispatch of the above legal notice. Whether the legal notice is dispatched or not, we have an acknowledgement. So we should produce that also. Ninth one, postal acknowledgement received from the accused. So all these are to be produced by the person who is lodging a complaint against the accused or the drawer under section 138 of Negotiable Instruments Act. So the same for accused. If the accused wants to counter it also, then he has to produce some documents. The first one is communication exchanged between the parties. Second one, documents evidencing that the accused has no liability. If he has already paid the amount or some evidence regarding it is there, then he has to produce. Third one, reply to demand notice. What kind of reply? What reply he has given to the demand notice of the complainant? So these things are to be produced by the accused. The proceedings under the check bounce matter are summary in nature. They should be completed within a certain limited time. That's why it is summary. The trial or proceedings are summary in nature, meaning thereby that the courts would not go for normal criminal trials. So it is generally, though it is criminal in nature, like other criminal trials, it should not take longer time because those criminal trials take very lengthy and more complex times. For contesting the matter, the accused person has to take bail from the court. That is a normal procedure. In check bounce cases, the parties also have the option of setting the matter amicably outside the court. So outside the court also, these matters can be settled by Lok Adalat or some other things. As it is a compoundable offense, because it is a compoundable offense, it can be settled outside the court also. Interim compensation under section 143A, capital A, and 148 of NI Amendment Act 2018. This is the latest amendment. Under the provisions of section 143, capital A, courts can issue directions for interim compensation. So, till the trial is over, the complainant should not suffer. If the court thinks so, then interim compensation can be granted to the complainant, which shall not exceed 20% of the amount of the check. For example, the check is for 1 lakh, then 20,000 as interim compensation can be granted to the complainant. So this is regarding the check bounce and how a complaint can be lodged under section 138 of NI Act.
Yes, thank you very much, Kolikonda Sharad Babu, and for the other people also should know it. Kolikonda Sharad Babu was my student when there in the Khammam. Now it is a practicing advocate also Khammam and pursuing the LLM, and he is a retired English lecturer. And I could see from the participants. Dr. M. Srinivas, Associate Professor, University College of Law, Kakatiya University, also be present today. And welcome, sir. Today, I don't know Vainunad whether he comes or not, but I was thinking that he may come, then he will join and he can also lead some of the points over there. And if he did not join, Srinivas, could you speak for a minute? Are you hearing me, M. Srinivas?
Good evening, sir. Good evening. I am hearing you, sir.
Could you address to our students?
So, sir, just I could say all the best, and today I am listener only.
Okay. No
All the
matter.
best, and
So,
once again, appreciate your efforts for giving legal knowledge to the students who are attending these examinations. Thank
I
you, sir.
told you
Thank
that
you.
my weakness, if I don't teach at least 1 hour, I will die.
Sir.
My food will not be digested. Even one
Sir.
student also there, doesn't matter. I don't count how many students are listening. At least one student also benefited by my lecture. I think that my mission is fulfilled. That's why my slogan say, Anni danamula kanna vidya danam minna. In all arms, education arm is at zenith. So let us take my turn. And today I told them that I would like to give the nature of the negotiable instrument. What is the negotiable instrument? Perhaps by the students, by this time they know it. A negotiable instrument is a document. And that guarantees the payment of a specific amount of money to the specified person. And who is the specified person here? Participants? Participants, give the reply.
The concerned person, sir.
The payee. The beneficiary.
Yes,
Is it clear? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
It
sir.
requires the payment either upon demand or it's a time and is structured like a contract. So summary is there. A negotiable instrument is a document that guarantees the payment of the specific amount of money to be specified person, within parentheses the payee and beneficiary, and requires the payment either on demand or at set date. And the second bullet goes, negotiable instruments are distinct from a non-negotiable instruments in that they can be transferred to the different people, and in that case, the new holder obtains the full legal title to them. And in the TN, here I have shown you that negotiable instrument, bill of exchange, promissory note, and check. But when you see it, non-negotiable instruments, I believe that you could see my screen. Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. We can give you.
Can you read that? What is non-negotiable instruments? Which is there on the screen.
Bill of exchange, promissory note, check.
Non-negotiable instruments.
Sir,
This is
money orders,
credit.
postal orders, and share certificates.
Where is
I
it?
appreciate.
Credit. Fine. Where is it, sir? It's not appearing.
It is not, you did not see here. See, my cursor is there. Did you see the cursor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Money order, post. Yes, sir.
Money order, postal order, share certificate. And the left hand side, credit, financial, and the payments. The instruments, because Venunanand is very good in that aspect, and hence that he will made it very much clear you, because he is full busy in the Ganesh installation. Perhaps that is the reason that he could not today attend it. Okay. Now let us go to the third bullet is negotiable instrument contains the key information such as the principal amount, interest rate, date, and the most important, the signature of the payer. So the feature of the negotiable instrument is the negotiable instrument refers to the fact that they are the transferable to different parties, and it is a transfer, the new holders obtain the full legal title to it. Of course, the endorsement should be there. Suppose if I write to the in a particular name, if he endorse it, then he can it will be go to the some other person in the full right. So non-negotiable instruments, on the other hand, is set in stone and cannot be altered in any way. So that was the thing, non-negotiable instrument. Negotiable instrument enables the holders to either take the funds in cash or transfer to another person. The exact amount that the payer is promising to pay is indicated on the negotiable instrument and must be paid on the demand or at a specified date. Like contract, negotiable instruments are signed by the issuer of the document. Who is the issuer of the document? What do you call? Participants.
Mhm.
If you don't know, you say pass on. Participant, are you
Yes, sir,
hearing
pass
me?
on. Yes, sir. Awesome.
Then why you are not giving the drawer?
Yes, sir.
The
Drawing.
person who is having the account in a particular bank and he is having the checkbook and he writes over there is called the drawer. Okay, types of the negotiable instrument, let us see that. So, can you read anyone? Unmute and read. Participants?
There are many types of negotiable instruments. The common one include personal checks, travels check, promissory notes, certificates of deposit, and money orders.
What is the wrong there? We don't write the CHECKS. What do you write?
QUE, sir.
CHE.
CHEQUE.
QUE.
Yeah, that is the one. So here I made the correction here. Personal checks, here I made the correction. Okay. So now personal checks are signed and authorized by someone who deposited money with the bank and specify the amount required to be paid as well as the name of the bearer of the check, the recipient.
Sir, I would like to submit one thing.
Please explain.
Both spellings are honored, sir. Both spellings.
Yeah,
are
because that is a USA spelling, this is a British spelling.
yes. In India also they are accepted, sir.
Yes. But our I will not accept CHECK.
Okay.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. While technology has led to an increase in the popularity of the online banking, checks are still used to pay a variety of bills. However, a limitation of using personal checks is that it is a relatively slow form of the payment and takes a long time for the checks to be processed compared to other methods. Now, Google Pay is there and Phone Pay is there. The many other thing also. Instead of giving the check, we can pay by that one also. I don't know whether limit is. Any limit is there in the Google Pay?
Yes, sir. 50,000 limit.
Yes.
50,000. We cannot send more than
Yes,
50,000.
For
No, sir.
Paytm, 1 lakh is accepting, I think. Paytm.
Google Pay, phone to 50,000.
Okay.
ATM is 1 lakh.
All right.
Paytm.
Because at the time we used to see the traveler's check, but we did not see even the traveler's check now. Did you see the traveler's check now? People are using it.
Yes, sir.
Answer no.
No, sir.
Some people may be using even now also, I think.
I don't think, because when you have the Visa card, when you have the MasterCard, and when you enable it for the international transaction, then you can draw it anywhere in the world on the planet if the ATM works. Is it clear?
Sir,
Okay, when a travel
sir,
check is
we-
there, travel check is another type of the negotiable instrument intended to be used as a form of payment of the people on a vacation in a foreign countries as an alternative to the foreign currency. It is outdated now. So, but at least we should know these are also the negotiable instruments. Travel checks are issued by the financial institution with the serial numbers and prepared the fixed amounts. They operate using the dual signature system, which require the purchase of the check to sign once before the using the check and a second time during the transaction. As long as the two signatures match up, the financial institution issuing the check will guarantee the payment to the payee unconditionally. So the travel checks, the purchaser don't have to worry about the carrying large amount of the foreign currency while on vacation, and the banks provide the security for the lost or stolen checks. Okay. With the technological development in the last few decades, the use of the travel checks has gone into decline as more convenient way of making the payment abroad has been introduced. It is like that. In the beginning, we used to use the only 3.5 floppy. Later on,
CDs,
compact disc. Later on,
chips,
what is the specific name is there?
Drive.
There is a specific
card.
name is there.
drive,
Pen drive.
You say pen drive here, but what is the another name?
Hard disk, sir.
No. Hard disk is external hard disk is different. In Africa, we don't say the pen drive, or you say there glue stick. Memory, sorry, not memory stick. MEMORY, memory, STICKS, memory stick. Okay, there are also security concerns associated with the traveler checks. A signature can be forged and the checks themselves can be also counterfeited. Today, many retailers and banks don't accept the traveler checks due to the inconvenience of the transaction and the fee charged by the banks to cash them. Instead, traveler checks have been mostly replaced with the debit and credit cards in the mode of payment. What is debit card and what is a credit card?
Debit card is something where we have money in our account, the savings account.
Okay.
Credit card is the bank money.
Even though there is no money, they will pay it.
we will,
Whenever we
credit card can be used and that money may be paid in due course.
Okay.
in a
So,
tag of 45 days.
third is the money order. And of course, we already read over there, it is a non-transferable. Money orders are like the checks is that they promise to pay an amount to the holder of the order issued to the financial institutions, government money. And do you think that still the people are sending the money orders?
No, that practice, I think it has been done away completely.
And sometimes we have to keep it the money order form also to show to our children or grandchildren. See, this is the type of the money order would be there. Now, I used to keep the postcard also
Okay.
to show to the students, some of them, because they don't know what is the postcard. And especially a postcard, if you write a defamatory matter on postcard, automatically it is amount to a publication. So that is the reason I would like to keep the postcard also. Did you get my point? Sir, it is
Yes,
a Tatla, no sir,
Yes.
because Tatla is not there in the examination.
Everything
Oh,
is
yeah.
Sir.
Writing a defamatory matter on the postcard, it's amount to defamation because it's amount to publication. Even a postman will read it, even a starting man will read it, even a man who is making the seal will read it. Other than the two, if it is read by a third person, it is amount to publication. Okay. Money orders contain the relatively little personal information compared to checks with the just names and address of the sender and recipient and not any personal account of information. Of course, the money order, the below some space is there. We can write it. The money which I am sending is for that purpose. Did you see it? Sir, we did not see the money order. Hosea, did you see the money order form?
No, sir.
Please go and ask him and he will show you. Otherwise, he will say, sir, it is not no more the use. Or he will look at you from the toe to top. Okay, now the fourth one is the promissory note. A promissory note or a document containing the written promise between the parties, one party, the payer, in promising to pay the other party, the payee, a specified amount of the money at a certain date in the future. Like other negotiable instrument, promissory notes contain all the relevant information for the promise, such as the specified principal amount, interest rate, term, length, the date of issuance, the signature of the payer. Now, one question is there. Promissory note, is it a non-judicial stamp paper or judicial stamp paper?
It is non-judicial.
Practicing advocate, they have to give the answer to my question.
It's only a form, sir. We have to fill the form and get it signed by the person.
That is non-judicial, sir, because only we affix a revenue stamp on it.
Oh, you will fix only the revenue stamp.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Our
That's
revenue
one
stamp of 1 rupee or 2 rupee.
Yes, 2 rupees nowadays.
2 rupees, 1 rupee, anything, sir.
When the amount exceeds.
No problem, sir.
Okay. The promissory note primarily enables the individuals or corporation to obtain the financial forms a source other than the bank or the financial institution. So a plain paper also a promissory note.
Yes, yes.
Whether the witnesses should be essential.
No,
Yes,
sir.
there should be definitely witnesses.
Gaussian
the
say there is
purpose
no
of evidence,
witnesses.
it's not there in the law that witness must be compulsory, sir. But for the purpose of evidence, we take the signature of the witness.
Even contract need not be in writing. But when you put it in
Yes, sir.
writing, it is easy to make it produced in the before the court.
Yes, sir.
So any
Yes, sir.
transaction should be in writing to avoid the all litigation problems. While promissory notes are not as informal as an IOU. What is meant by IOU?
I am indebted to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Which merely is it?
IOWEOYOUU.
But where the Y should have to come? Why you wrote the U?
This is the peculiar type of spelling which is very easy to identify.
I should be IOY. Why IOU?
Yes, because it corresponds with the spelling and pronunciation also.
Okay.
IOU, even if spelling OWEYOU is written, then it is pronounced in the same way as IOU.
Now you tell me in the four abbreviation, which type of abbreviation it is?
This is initialism.
It is an initialism, which merely indicates that there is a debt. It is not a formal and rigid as a loan contract, which is more detailed and it's list out the consequences if the note is not paid and other effects. In the promissory note, only payer and payee is there. There is no dryer and dry.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, next, certificate of deposit.
No
CD.
bank there.
A certificate of deposit is a product offered by the financial institution and a bank that allows the customer to deposit and leave untouched a certain amount of the fixed period. Can you say it's a FD?
Once we deposit it in a fixed manner, they will issue certificate of deposit.
And can you say it's a FD?
Yes,
Yes,
it
sir.
is FD also.
It is here that certain amount for a fixed period. So it may be FD, sir.
Okay. Usually the interest rate increases steadily with the length of the period. If the length of the period is more, interest is more or less?
Yes, more, sir.
More, sir.
It depends proportionate to the amount which you deposited.
Because the amount will be resting with the bank and they can use it for some other purposes. That's why they will give us some more interest.
Okay. The certificate of
So we are
deposit
not
is
going
expected to be held until maturity when the principal along with the interest and can be withdrawn. Without the maturity, can also we can
Yes.
encash the FD.
Yet
Yes, sir,
any
but
time
they
we can
will- there will
withdraw
be some
that
charges.
amount,
Yes.
but there will be some deductions when we withdraw it prematurely.
Before the
Some
maturity.
interest, yes, some interest is cut down.
Okay.
Some benefits are not given.
Okay. As such, fee is as often charged as a penalty for the clearly withdrawal. So most financial institutions, including the banks and credit unions, offers CDs, but the interest rates, term limits, and penalty fee vary greatly. Interest rates charged on the CDs are significantly higher, around 3 to 5 times, than those for the savings account. So most people shop around for the best rate before committing to the CD. So CDs are the attractive and customers not only because of the high interest rate, but also for their safe and conservative nature as the interest rate is fixed throughout the course of the term. Does it mean that each bank is having the different rate in the CDs? Interest.
Slightly different, sir.
Can you tell me, because I did not have an experience, which bank is giving the more interest on the CDs? I mean FD.
Private banks generally they will give more fixed, interest rates.
HDFC is giving more, sir.
Even Indus Valley Bank also I found.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But
Now let us see the
all-
difference between the bill of exchange and the promissory note.
but all in the guidelines of RBI.
A regulatory body.
Yes.
Okay. Now, difference between the bill of exchange and the promissory note. Negotiable instruments are signed documents that contain the promise to pay a specified amount of money to the bearer or assignee at a specified date on being demanded. These instruments are transferable in nature, allowing a person or entity to use the instrument most appropriately. And there are three types of the negotiable instruments, namely, what do you say, namely, in participant, not the host? What do you say, namely, in Latin terminology?
Example.
Different types. Example.
I repeat the
Easy,
question.
sir.
Namely is the equivalent. What is the Latin full? I don't need the full terminology. At least you can say its abbreviation, initialism.
Easy, sir. Example.
IE or
No,
IDEST or Viz.
Vidilicet. VIZ, capital V, small I, Z, full stop. So, Viz, bill of exchange, checks, and promissory notes. Meaning of the bill of exchange. Bill of exchange is a negotiable instrument which is a legally binding document containing an order to pay a certain sum of money to a person within a predetermined time frame or on demand by the bearer of the instrument. A creditor issues the bill of exchange to the debtor for the payment of the money.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा। जय हिंद।